birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me.
Turn on your mind now, tune into the feed. We're planting digital flowers from a single tiny seed. Yeah, power to the collective in the data and the soul. The hive mind's getting louder, finding voice and control.
Here we go. Welcome to the freak show, the best in town.
What is going on, Hive? Let me make sure my audio is coming in loud and clear per usual. If this is your first time tuning in, I'm your host, Birdie. This is the Hive Mind. Welcome. Right off the jump, let me just tell everybody, this is a contrarian thinking live stream. So if you are easily rattled or offended on behalf of others, you might as well get to scrolling. You're not going to like this stream. You're probably going to hate me. We like to ask a lot of hard questions and think past the headlines. So if that sounds like you, well, you have found your people and you are amongst friends. If it is not sounding like, yeah, I can do that, I like to question the narrative. If you don't like to do that, well, I would still encourage you to hang out, stick around, look at the chat, see what people in the Hive are saying. Because right now we're talking about the Idaho 4 case. This is a case that if we don't question it, we're all cooked. I've been saying it for a very, very long time. A lot of people have. And even though this evening's stream, we might just be talking about one case, and this case just so happens to be occurring in the United States, I think we need to be honest about something much bigger going on. We have a lot of people that tune in from outside of the States, which is incredible. I love how far and wide the Hive stretches. But what's happening in the Idaho 4 case, what seems like just a little small town in Moscow, Idaho, what we think is just happening there, it's really not. It's happening everywhere. And how we feel talking about this case, you can apply that exact same feeling to, because people all over the world are exhausted, right? We're not necessarily confused or tired. We're we're exhausted of lies, right? We're sick of the lies, not physically tired, I should say, rather. We're being told to kneel down, kneel to the authority, kneel to fear, kneel to the narrative. Just comply. Just trust us. We are your source of truth and trusted information. And I know this has been going on long before COVID, but at least in my lifetime, this is really the first time that I've witnessed this exacerbated effect play out after a major world event like COVID. The media, they can act like they've let it go, but really this has shaken everybody all across the globe. And we've made a mistake as people. We have. As the people, no matter what country you are in, we have made a mistake. The mistake is that we've been too nice. We have allowed these authorities to confuse stability and obedience. Stability is not obedience. They have assumed that people like you and me are just going to stay on our knees forever. As long as the story was polished enough, as long as it was just good enough for us to not ask questions. It sounds legit. We got an expert. No. You see, and then for their sake, something unexpected happened. People woke up. Not all at once either, which is actually a really, really cool aspect about this entire situation that we're in. We didn't all organize in one country or under one flag. No. You see, we're standing up as individuals. We're standing up in all different categories in our own lives. What we want to consider, we're sales reps, or we're nurses, or we're stay-at-home moms, or we're working in a factory, we're janitors. We're standing up as individuals. And we're saying this to our friends. And this quote, I can guarantee you almost all of us have said. Quote, am I crazy, or does none of this make sense? And the fact that we've gotten to that point, Hive, the fact that so many of us have asked that simple question, no matter what language or what country, they're cooked. They've lost. It's a matter of time. Continue to ask that question, because we cannot give up. This case is a vehicle for so many situations that are about to be much bigger in the near future. I'm not trying to sound the fire alarm. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but let me tell you this. You're not crazy. And yes, something is very wrong. The Idaho 4 case perfectly sums this up. Now, the last stream or two, I haven't really taken too much time and said what's up to everybody. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to address everybody in the Hive. While I'm doing that, please take 5 seconds and screenshot this. So after the live, all you have to do is just click that QR code, and that will take you to all of the Hive's links. It'll take you to my TikTok. It'll take you to the Discord, the Hive Mind merch store. And the best way to support this stream is just to follow and subscribe across all channels. They're all free. I'm like 300 people away on TikTok from being at 100K. So if I can get there tonight, that would be epic. Again, not that I'm chasing numbers. You guys know that. But I will say that would be really, really awesome. If you don't follow me on TikTok, go tap that link and please follow me on TikTok, because once you get to 100K on TikTok, you get different, what do you want to call it? You get perks as a creator. And I'm going to use that I'm going to use those perks to continue to spread the truth. Now, what we're going to be talking about this evening, here's a little bit of a sneak peek of the Hive Mind store too. We got shirts, hoodies, hats, bags, tumblers, coffee mugs, long sleeves. They're awesome. I actually got this shirt on, which I'm about to add. It's perfectly summing up the Idaho 4 case, which is this design has been, and you're never going to know what it says because it's redacted. So it sounds like a lot of people like this design. I got it in a t-shirt and a hoodie. I'll go ahead and I will be adding that at the end of this week to the Hive Mind store. So keep an eye out for that. But nonetheless, we're going to be talking about the 1112 audio and the theory that Jess, who I had on the stream last week before I went out of town, was piecing her theory together off of. I've seen a lot of comments asking, well, what audio is she listening to? And I'm going to be diving into that tonight. We're going to hear it. We're going to listen. We're going to break it down. And I'm curious to see what everybody in the Hive thinks. And let me go ahead and see who is all in here this evening. We got Jenna, Carolina, Long Gone, Fiona, Luna Bliss. Shout out to one of my mods. Lolo, Gramilla, Sherry, Poetic Justice, KR4546, Ample Spark, Scout, Fiji, Sleuther Dare, UFO Dog. Shout out to one of my other mods. Tilted Halo Detective, UK Karen, the girl from Texas, April, Coco Cash, Lolo, think twice. Down the rabbit hole to hell. Denny, Sherry, Marla. And you know what? Actually, given the fact that I started the intro with how it doesn't really matter if you're in America, I think the majority of the world is feeling what I'm describing. Where is everybody tuning in from? It's always awesome to see what countries the algorithm pushes the Hive to. What's up? Formerly known as Beck, one of my other mods. Christopher, Deanna, Marcia, Jennifer. We got Maine, Texas. I was just in Austin. Minnesota, South Texas, Ohio, Virginia, the UK. The Gem McGorgan is in Australia, Portugal, UK cheese farmer side piece. Jesus, that's amazing. Georgia, Chicago, unfortunately, Scotland, Cali, LA, Texas, Ohio, North Carolina, Ohio, Australia, Texas. Grandma Grizz is in the frozen riot zone. Minnesota, Oklahoma, UK, Oregon, Sub-Zero, Michigan, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Philly, Brisbane, Australia, Texas, freezing cold and sunny Florida. Yeah. Another Australia, Seattle, New York, Canada, Scotland, Texas, Wyoming, North Carolina, Washington, Southwest Florida, Pennsylvania, the Twilight Zone, Oregon, Florida, Louisiana, Ohio, Maine, Pennsylvania, New York, Texas, New Mexico, Espanola, Dallas here. Where's LA Mike? I haven't seen LA Mike in a minute. Pennsylvania, Texas, Pocono Mountains, Pennsylvania, Bluegrass, Kentucky, Washington, D.C., Illinois, Tampa, West Virginia, Iowa, Oklahoma, Washington, UK, somewhere out west. Dirty Jersey, Marlboro, New York, East Tennessee, the North Pole, Kentucky, South Carolina, Louisiana. That's awesome. New Jersey. Well, prayers to LA Mike's father. LA Mike is an OG in the Hive, so I did not know that, Ariana. Thank you for the update. Pittsburgh, Idaho, North Louisiana, Minnesota, the Rockies. Good. And we got 960 Trouble tuning in from Wales. Well, again, thank you all for tuning in. Please, again, take 2 seconds, hit the like button, hit subscribe, send this to your NPC normie mouth breathing friends. Let them know we have no refunds on the red pills if they are somebody who just parrots their favorite talk show host on the nightly news. Those days are over. We don't need the nightly news. If anything, the nightly news has gotten us into situations time and time again that has bent the people over the barrel. It's the truth. Okay? Sorry. Don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I don't know if anybody in here doesn't know that, but it really certainly is starting to feel that way. Now, I'm going to start this stream off with a Discord question of the day from Coco Cash. Coco Cash has asked, do you think Ann Taylor was dirty? Was she scared? She was court appointed. She went to the university, meaning University of Idaho. I think she did just enough to come across to look like she wasn't trying to sabotage. Now, there's a handful of ways that I could answer this question. I have my opinions. What do you all think? Let me put a couple up on screen here. You guys think Ann Taylor was dirty? Sarah Brown says, it has crossed my mind. Germilla says, she was giving very much soft. Kat says that Ann Taylor's hands were tied. Poetic Justice says, I'm not sure. Tilted Halo says, I have no idea. Christy 2.2 says, I think she was threatened and out of options, maybe. Sweetly Psychotic 420 says, I honestly am not sure. S. Nelson 5778 says, dirty as Fuck. Formerly known as Beck says, she sucks, and yes, was in on the plan. Ample Spark says, way over her head. UFO Dog says, not sure. Her name's Rio says, no. Coco Cash, which I will say I did cut this question short because Coco went and gave her responses, but ultimately her response sums up what this comment is, which is that their mind changes every day. Carolina Bravo 1989 says, nah, she was saving her own ass. Searching for my brother says, definitely not. Pretty much maybe says, I think she was threatened. Sarah goes back and forth. A lot of opinions on this. I would like to think, as UFO Dog just said, I would like to think that she was not dirty. But the biggest red flag to me, okay, I know this is going to be an unpopular opinion, but I'm going to say it. The biggest red flag to me is, where is this PR push for my client is innocent? You know the public's looking into this, right? The news is still running stories about cookies or bananas or complaints in jail. You have a platform still. This case is at the forefront of a lot of mainstream media headlines. Why are you not interjecting yourself? That's one of the weirdest things to me. I'm not saying that necessarily means that Ann is dirty, but the fact that she's been radio silent, as Scout just said, that's just odd. It's odd. I don't understand it. More times than not, when somebody's wrongfully convicted, you'll see a documentary come out. You'll see a giant PR push. You'll show contradictions in evidence. And we don't have any of that. For example, Making a Murderer with Stephen Avery, right? I think that one was, at least in the last 5 to 6 years, a huge documentary that shows how corrupt a small town local police department in Manitowoc, Wisconsin could be. And it woke a lot of people up. But the challenge is, when you don't have the documentary creating this dichotomy of information or what happened in the case, it's hard when that momentum goes away to ever build it back up, in my opinion. I don't know if it really matters that she was a student at the university. To the last part of this question, saying, I think she did just enough to come across to look like she wasn't trying to sabotage. That could be the strategy of saying that he had an inadequate defense, right? But at what point is this not a chess move? At what point is Brian Koberger and all of his defense team just cooked? And they're like, we don't know what they did. They manipulated everything. For all we know, the trace DNA that they say traced back to 4 brothers in Pennsylvania could have been off of somebody who was looking at the sheath after it came back from Mexico that we outsourced to save money on. they could have been the last person to touch it, which is right on the border in New York and Pennsylvania. And if you haven't checked out Jay and Bree /Pavarotti's video, I would highly encourage you to do so. It's like a 27-minute video, very informative. And honestly, just hats off to Pav there, because that's how I think. I'm surprised that it's taken that long. I believe that the title of his video was like, "This has been in our face the whole time." If it came back to somebody in Pennsylvania and the manufacturer of the sheath is in New York, right on the border of Pennsylvania, and of Italian descent on the East Coast, this just goes to show you how the technology of IgG is just not ready. It's not ready at all. It's scary. They could do this to anybody. So, getting into tonight's theme, and I have, did you hear it? And WTF was that? Because if you remember, last week, I believe it was Thursday, I had Jess from TikTok, who had a viral theory about what she was hearing in audio, come onto the stream, talking about gurgling and the situation that she hears unfolding while listening. Now, it really didn't click with me that Jess was listening to audio that somebody else had put out there until it was sent to me in an email. So I want to quickly address this. Let me put this full screen. So Emily Chapa is the username on YouTube that put the translation out. And similar to Christie's Chaos, where Emily's only at 200 something subscribers, she's been a part of the Hive. She actually emailed me talking about how, hey, I put a lot of effort into this. I would love for you to show it. And it's not, I don't want to make that sound like she's begging for attention, because the email came off nothing but genuine, nothing but wanting to get to the truth. So let me just make that very, very clear. But going back and listening to what Emily had put out, I can see how Jess could listen to this and get the theory that she did. So I figured, you know what? Let's go back to the source. Let's listen to Emily's video with captions, and let's listen to it. This is from 225 to 242. It's transcribed, meaning that there's going to be audio on it. And what we're going to do first is we're going to watch these captions, and then we're going to go back through it. So I won't stop it the first time. And then when we go back through it, we can give our own synopsis on what do we hear. Now, before I do that, I am aware that there are new crime scene photos available. I'm going to only keep that on screen briefly, because I was talking with my mods and we were going through them. We can't have another live shutdown. So my thought was, can we do it on X? Can we do it on Discord? And we're working through that. There are some extremely graphic photos. And to be quite frank, I had sent them a text and I said, these look different. These look like what you would expect to see. Full transparency. Like they were ramped up in the blood, in the gore, and just the chaos of the room. So we will try to have that figured out for tomorrow night. Okay. If there is anything where I won't be streaming on YouTube and I'll only be on X, or I'll only be in Discord, I will post that very early. So again, that's why it's important to join all of these links right here. so that if I am live just on X or if I am just in the Discord showing those photos and giving a breakdown, that's where you can find them. Again, just screenshot this, tap it after the live. But yeah, I mean, they're pretty crazy. And they're a lot more graphic and bloody. You could see someone's face. Bloodied face. And I'm going to leave it at that because I got to figure out how I can do this on live. There's different rules for YouTube on what I can show on live. If you guys have been in the Hive for a while, you remember the whole Charlie Kirk situation where I showed a dude in a prone position with a gun and I got put into YouTube jail. And thank you to Beth, gave a $20 super chat saying, love you, Hive. Well, we love you. And Midnight Sunlight says, don't share live. Just want to share that photo of X is in number 953 in the docs. Yeah. That's what I was getting at. I can't even show it. I don't want to distract from the live. Can I show that stuff on Rumble? I have a Rumble account. I never use it. Can I show that on Rumble? I got to look it up. Let me just see what people say. Just stay tuned. I'll let you know because I think it's important to go over. And you can find the photos in the Discord. We have the link posted. Nonetheless, guys, make sure you guys go and show Emily Chapa some love. Be cool to get her up to 1,000 subscribers. And what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to pull up the video. Oops, I'm way too big in this corner here. All right. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to play this. Turn your headphones up. I'm not going to talk this first. This is a 6-minute video. So I'm not going to talk. Let's just go ahead and let's listen to this together. Here we go. So again,
You show me your examination then?
whoops. So that's pretty crazy, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the 1112 King Road footage now without the subtitles. The thing that Emily did really good is I believe that when you go to put captions on and you type them in like that, you have to get into the mindset that you're in that situation, which is really hard to do, right? So this is from 225 to 242 transcribed. It jumps around, right? Obviously, it's only a 6-minute video. But if I were to go to I'm going to pull up the footage that I have that's enhanced from 225. That does not enhanced at all. let me go ahead and pull that up. Either way, there's a whole situation going on is what I'm getting at. I was about to cuss. I'm trying not to cuss on stream. It's just there's an entire situation happening that nobody wants to acknowledge or address. And to me, that's wrong. It's very wrong. In positions of power have just let that go. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put this up now. So 225 to 241. Let's go ahead and let's listen. You know what I'm actually going to try to do? I'm going to do the view sync. Let me put that video and what Emily did together. And let's just see how that comes out. Did not think of doing that until right now, but maybe that'll work. Oh, it's saying that it's an invalid video because I have that video on private. Okay, let me switch that quick. Give me a minute. One second. This should work now. All right, one second. Here we go. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the one with captions. I'm going to mute that, and I'm going to leave mine go to see if we hear anything. So this won't work because the audio that I have is at 2x speed. But it's tough because the captions line up. It's just going to be after the fact. So even if I start it at the same time, like they started at the same time of 225.01. So if I take this to 225.14, so these are the same. Let's see. It's not going to last long. See, it's like two different situations playing out. So the bottom one was forensically enhanced, and what Emily did is not. Do you guys want to listen to Emily's again with the captions, or do you want to listen to 225 to 242 of the sped up version? You guys tell me. We can do both. We just listen to the captions. We can now listen to the one that I did that's sped up but crystal clear. Sounds completely different, and then go back to the captions. What do you guys want? Emily's? Okay. Captions? All right. Okay. Let me go back. All right. Let me get that shared. All right. So here is Emily's again. We can listen to this again with the captions. 225.25 is when this starts. I want to go back to this part quick. Okay. So I'll let it play, but I just want to show people that the captions are very accurate. Okay. So it's like, I just want to go to bed. But then when you listen to this one at the same time, so that's 225.14. Let me get it there. All right. So when you listen to this at 225.14, so it's like, I just want to go to bed. In this version, it says like, or it sounds like they're dead. Okay. So 225.12 at 225.14, it starts talking about like, I just want to go to bed. So listen to this. Okay, so right before 226. Now, listen to it in this one. So again, very, very good captions and interpretation from Emily, which, by the way, just for the sake of making sure that Emily gets credit, because I had no idea that Jess based her theory off of this. Give Emily a subscription or a like. Just make sure you go check out her page on YouTube, Emily_Chapa. And it's interesting. It's one of the situations where you have to remember the audio is redacted. Outcast had shown the file name and it says redacted. It sounds like it's underwater the entire time. I had sent this same clip off, and in order for the cadence of normal speech, right? So how you and I talk, in order for the cadence to be normal, as far as like what this guy would see for the audio pitch or how low it is, those terms are probably wrong. But when you look at like the audio bars, right? He had to 2x the speed and lower the pitch. And that's what I have for audio. But what confuses people is that he did it with the video. So the timestamps are going really quick. So I have it pulled up now of the audio that is enhanced. And I have it zoomed in to where you won't see the timestamps. And I don't want to piss people off by showing them this. I don't even know if I'll be able to do it, actually, now that I say that. Yeah, it won't be. Damn. If I do it like this with the timestamps off and you just listen. Tell me if it sounds a little bit different. So I hear some people saying that it's going too fast. Again, I'm working with you guys here. I'm trying to make this as clear as possible. now that we saw those captions, I can pull it up on YouTube and I can slow it down, but tell me if this helps. Type a 1 if this is better. I'll do it a little bit more. It's going to sound slowed down. That's all. Okay, so this is at 0.75. The whole goal of sending this audio off to the dude that forensically enhanced it, which I've been very open and honest about, was to get the tone of voices right. And so this will be 0.75. It'll sound different, but it might make it easier to hear what words are being said. So just so everybody knows, and I just put this up on screen, the captions on this version, they're not available on any version. Any captions that you see, like the CC, especially if it's uploaded to YouTube, those were input by somebody else. So the raw file won't let you put captions on this. YouTube won't even interpret it. That's what leaves it up to our minds. So again, that's why what Emily showed are her captions and that interpretation. But yeah, I can't just turn on closed caption. It won't even read it. Here, see how it's if I take down the comments here, look in the bottom right corner, it's not even lit up. It's not available. So that's not a me thing. I would love for that to be the case. It's just, it doesn't read captions on any version. So Jess says, can we watch the one that someone else put caption to? We've watched it twice. If you have anybody else that has captions, I would love to hear it or see it. But again, not many people have done it. So that's why I showed Emily's video. At the end of the day, guys, this file said redacted on it. So this is a manipulated audio. This is not me or any other creator doing anything to not provide captions. Okay. This is clearly manipulated audio and video, just like every other video and camera footage that we've gotten released. So my point is, like, how can we decipher it? I've tried to play it backwards. I've done that on stream. This is why I said, is Ann Taylor's strategy not just this golden goose of a chess move? And they're like, we don't even know. We can't even tell what's manipulated. How do we undo it? It's so manipulated, right? So if they prove that the audio is manipulated and the video is manipulated, okay, does that change the fact that Brian Koberger's DNA is on the loop of the knife sheath? No. Okay, well, the chain of custody is not there. Let's say they figure out the chain of custody. Well, then you got to go back to the eyewitnesses. What did the eyewitnesses say? Bushy eyebrows. Really? And they waited 8 hours. They called their friends. So I'm not sure how you get out of this. I'm convinced that somebody should have figured out how you get out of this. And the fact that nobody's been able to do it, or the fact that nothing legally has been done, going back to the Discord question of the day, is Ann Taylor compromised or dirty? I don't know. She could be up against a juggernaut of manipulation. Right. So Bat Cactus says that Pav debunked the DNA today, likely from the quality control in Pennsylvania. I have the utmost respect for Pav. It's an amazing theory. The only way that something like that's debunked is, do they have 4 brothers or a brother with 3 siblings that worked at that plant? Like, we don't even know that yet. Right? I think he would agree with that. It's one of those things where it's like, that's an amazing theory. It's been in our face the whole time. But guys, this is so manipulated. We're hearing all of this terror. And this is an hour and a half before anything happens. I wish that I had the answers, but I'm here to continue to dive into it and look for the answers, right? So trust me, I wish that I had crystal clear audio that we could dissect and that we could have captions on that are AI generated that could provide us some clarity. What we are watching is so much more than a murder. This is a huge event. And it's obvious that it's a huge event, because if it wasn't, and it was just a straightforward stabbing, I don't know if this breaks out of local headlines. Truly. We have every alphabet agency in on this case. The president putting out on Truth Social about this case. Josh Hurwitz involved in this case. National security referenced in this case. Brian Koberger, no connection to anybody in this case. 2 victims waited to call 911 for 8 hours in this case. Same friend group, in the same house, called their friends first. That doesn't matter. Like, if that was going to matter, it would have. It would have mattered by now. And the fact that it's not is really pointing to something else. It's not even, I'm not even trying to go that hard, because I know people are going to say, Birdie's just thinking psyop. Birdie's just thinking conspiracy. No, I'm telling you, this is the reality. I don't even have to give my synopsis on this. If you were to look at this and you were to read into it and you were to dive into video, audio, documents, testimonies, you would come up with exactly what I just said, which is that it doesn't matter that there were two witnesses that heard stuff, that came face to face with the killer, that didn't do anything for 8 hours, that the guy that they suspect is in a different state, that was writing papers on exactly what happened to him, that one of the family's victims, the most outspoken family, being the G family, is talking about using a family genealogy company to swab everybody, and it might not be him, it might be a family member, just to have Brian Koberger and his dad get pulled over twice in 20 minutes for following too closely, and have his dad reference Brent Kopaka being shot the same day that he's leaving out of town. Kopaka gets swatted, just to have the guy that says that, have it be his Q-tip that led to the DNA of the dude that has no connection to anybody in that house, that was writing papers on guilty pleas that lead to false confessions when you're overcharged, and then you settle with a plea deal. Like, I'm not making that up. That's what happened. That is insanity. That is not organic. That is not natural in any sense. And then we hear all of this audio that sounds like it's underwater. And the video glitches and it looks blurry and it looks like it's from the 1990s. Use common sense. Use pattern recognition in your own head. You go on how many social media sites and you see crystal clear Ring camera, or any doorbell camera for that matter, of people breaking in, stealing, porch pirates, whatever you want to say, when they steal Amazon boxes off of your porch. You see crystal clear video, crystal clear audio. It doesn't matter if it's day. It doesn't matter if it's night. This glitches. There's time missing. There's so many noises that don't sound like party noises. It sounds terrible. It sounds like terror. It sounds like torture. And we just continue to try to dissect it. I've fallen into the trap myself. And then it gets to a point where when they do release the photos that show stuff, I can't show them to you. The stream would get shut down. They're too gory. You see somebody's bloody face. There's blood everywhere. Like, where were those photos? Those photos seem to follow a different pattern than anything else that we've seen. Why wait until right now? And I know that that's not everybody's favorite thing to hear. But guys, if this was just a simple local corrupt police station or somebody covering for the frats, the lid would have been blown off of this so much faster. Think about how much attention this has gotten and continues to get. Not one big-time journalist has jumped on it at all. We're sitting here playing merry-go-round. I don't like that I'm even saying this to everybody, because it's like at a certain point, our tails get tucked between our legs and we're like, what are we doing then? And I don't know. I don't have the answer. I'm looking for it just like you. But I can tell you that the audio that's released, if it's redacted and then in other key moments it's muted, that's not a cover-up, especially when it's been FOIA requested and paid for, by the way. It's been paid for. And they still don't care. There is no next piece of the puzzle, because the piece of the puzzle that would solve this has been grinded up into a million pieces and thrown away. I'm not saying that we can't prove that an innocent man's behind bars, but how do you prove an innocent man's behind bars when that dude already knows what he's supposed to be doing? We have to understand the reality of this, not a conspiracy, the reality. He was writing papers about exactly what has happened to him, everybody. He was writing papers about people who are forced into plea deals by being overcharged and then settling with a plea deal, and that leads to wrongful convictions. We have a family that is in front of the Moscow PD 30 days, 29 days, 26 days, whatever the number is, before Bryan Kohberger is arrested, laying out exactly what's going to happen. They're going to have a family genealogy company come in. They're going to test everybody. It might not even be the killer. It could be a family member. Bryan Kohberger, who's this genius in criminology, and his car, that make and model, just outside the years of that car, is all over every world news channel. And he takes a 39-hour road trip with his father. Wouldn't you cancel that? Wouldn't you not do that? And then the fact that he gets pulled over 2 times in 20 minutes for following too closely. I would love to see the statistics on that. How many people has that happened to? Where then the person that gets pulled over references a Purple Heart PTSD veteran who people suspect is involved in that, gets referenced by their father in that traffic stop. Okay, that's what I want to know. I want to know how many suspicious frat and sorority people that are close to them, just like the roommates, don't get questioned hard at all. They get softball questions. These cops don't ask questions that they should because they know the answer to them. They don't need to ask them. Bryan Kohberger still hasn't said one word. That's exactly right, Dawn. Ann Taylor's not making any PR push for a wrongful conviction. If you were a new lawyer and a new defense attorney trying to make a stamp on proving wrongful convictions, this is a career maker from the jump. And thank you, Shelly, for the super chat saying you're spot on in your approach, Bertie. You encourage all of us to think. Much appreciated. Well, thank you. I really do appreciate all the super chats. And I'm not saying this to be a Debbie Downer. I'm very positive. I know that if we don't shut up, we're going to get to the bottom of this. But there's a lot of people that have a lot of money that go to jail. And I find it hard to believe that every 3-letter agency that you can name is involved in this. And some frat kid who has rich parents gets away with it. This feels like a massive event, a massive undertaking, a complex, sophisticated operation that went either terribly wrong or, I'll say it, it went exactly according to plan. The greater good. We know that this hit's coming. If we try to stop them, we could blow the lid on this entire thing. Well, we have to catch them in the act. Well, what if they were too quick? What if something went terribly wrong? I don't see the FBI, the DEA, Homeland Security, the marshals coming out and saying, hey, everybody, we used a college party house as bait to take down the Aryan Knights who were working with the cartel on the US 95 highway, the biggest trafficking highway for drugs and humans and weapons from Mexico to Canada, in this little quiet zone of Moscow, Idaho, between Boise and the border. Yeah, we messed up. I don't see them coming out and saying that. They could have been surveilling that house for so long, knowing certain ties is what I mean by bait. And they could have been watching that house, trying to prevent something from happening. For God's sakes, one of the victim's mother says, this better not have happened because I cooperated with the feds on flipping on one of those groups. I don't want this to be the truth, but I also can't stand to see people just run themselves into circles. If this is so straightforward and I'm wrong, I will be the first to admit it. I don't think I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong, especially given the lawsuit for predictive criminal behavior that WSU should have predicted this. That school, Brian Koberger, just so happened to arrive in the middle of funding for preventing lone wolf actors from committing heinous crimes. I don't see how this all ties together organically. I don't even see how the crime timeline is organic. 5 cars in a driveway, never been inside the house, no connection to them, no murder weapon, never had a violent criminal history. And he goes in there and leaves nothing. Come on, dude. It's not personal. There's no sexual motive. It doesn't make any sense, guys. And I think deep down, you know it doesn't make sense. I know it doesn't make sense. But we continue to think maybe we missed something. No, maybe they've muddied the waters so much that whatever we're looking into is not even close. At what point do we start to treat that as a value, like a viable option? At what point are we given things like Kopaka in the Banfield body cam and the 1112? Because it doesn't matter. They were never going to let us know what happened from the jump. And college kids didn't outsmart the entire country. And college kids, that part of Sigma Chi, didn't get the entire country to run cover for them. Now, is there truth to people being involved in nefarious activity? I wouldn't doubt it. I don't see how this occurs without that. But to end this rant, here's what I'm going to say. The important part is this. The important part is that we're having this discussion. I'm okay with being wrong. I think I'll humbly say this. I think that's one of my best qualities as a human is I'm okay with asking a question that other people think is dumb. I don't care. If I don't know, I have no problem asking like, hey, I don't know this. Why? I don't care. I want to know the answer so that I can at least contribute to a future conversation. And then B, if I'm wrong, I will tell you I'm wrong. I've never once got on stream and acted like I've had all the answers. Because I don't. But what I do have is I have an incredible community in the Hive that comes in here every night and we look into stuff. But right now, we need to be honest with ourselves. We can't keep looking at this case in a basic manner. That's been kind of my theme the last few nights. New photos got released. Okay, here's what we're going to see. I'm going to tell you, you're going to see a lot of blood. You're going to see a lot of gore. And you're going to say, holy shit, this happened. Okay? Don't lose sight of the fact it's still, given the blood, given the gore, that still doesn't account for one dude that's never been in the house ever with a fixed blade knife committing those crimes. Okay? The other part is this. We cannot get distracted by obvious bait WSU lawsuit comes out right after Christmas or right before Christmas. These photos drop right before WSU is going to respond. Prison complaints, prison leaked footage. There's a pattern happening. This happens all of the time in this case. So you have to ask yourself why. Why? And until we as a collective are able to grasp that, hey, let's check it out. Let's see if there's some stuff that maybe helps us get to the bottom of it. And if not, okay, distraction. That's like in a dark room where you can't see anybody, and I have a pebble in my hand, and I throw the pebble across the room so it makes a noise over there so that you don't know I'm sitting over here. And you go check it out over there, and I sneak out the back door. That's what it feels like. Time and time again. Ann Taylor, she does need to get questioned. Why are you not calling on the public? Why are you not making a PR push for a wrongful conviction? Do you know how insanely incentivized she could probably be at this point? Not just monetarily, but also the fact that your client was writing PhD papers about this exact same thing happening to him. It's a freaking Hollywood script in the making. If she can prove that out, like, what are the chances my client is framed and has to be settling with a plea deal, and he wrote papers about it that were released in public photos? That should be world news. And it's not. And that's a problem. It's a giant problem. It's an even bigger problem if Brian Koberger's in on this shit. I said it. I don't care. Nothing else makes sense. If Brian Koberger's aware of this or in on it, they need to tell the public. I don't want to waste my time looking at something that is already decided behind closed doors that I will never have access to truly help somebody. There are many other people that are wrongfully convicted sitting behind closed bars that don't have the publicity, that don't have the attention, that don't have the resources, that don't have people that give a shit. I want to help them then. I'm going to calm down. And I'm going to go into a quick tinfoil hat conspiracy of the day, which is that there's a whistleblower honey trap. They're going to let you think you can expose the system, and then the system will expose you. Because whistleblowers, at first, they're not silenced. They're baited. This system is going to pretend that they're going to offer you platforms, even praise, to track and trap and terminate the moment that you realized somebody is lying. But it's an engineered loop. You see, there's 5 steps to this. They're going to create the illusion of free speech that you're allowed to speak out about it. We're going to encourage you to leak this information. However, on the back end in step 3, they're going to monitor the uprise. The second that the leak goes public, if you don't think that there are networks and social media algorithms and any behavioral tracking system we know exists, those are going to light up. And it's going to catalog everyone, probably people like you and me, who support them. Then, after they make their big move, these people are going to be discredited, and we are going to get distracted with smear campaigns, Reddit bots, blue checkmark shills. They're going to say the same talking points. Conspiracy theorists, they're mentally unstable. There's no credible evidence. And suddenly, the truth that these people just risk their life to spill is going to become dangerous misinformation. And then step 5, if that doesn't work, here comes the cleanup crew. There's going to be an accident, a suicide, a disappearance, maybe a mysterious heart attack. And you name it, Hive. It's been done. It's been done. It's a dangerous world that we live in. The truth needs to be more public. It needs to be easily accessible, readily available. And people who tell the truth need to be rewarded and honored, not just with protection. So with that, again, please hit the like button, hit subscribe. I'll be back on tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Central. Challenge yourself. Look at the photos. Join our Discord. I'm going to put this full screen one last time, okay? Screenshot this, tap the link, join the Discord. I also have all of the links in the bio of this live, okay? So make sure that you have the Discord app downloaded on your phone. Join the Discord, and you'll see the photos. You'll be able to check out what do we have, Dawn? 2,000 people in there. We have an incredible base of people in the Discord already that are diving into these photos. The second documents get leaked or dropped, the second that something wild happens, it's in our Discord. Second to none. World-class breaking news type stuff. And I'm grateful for that. So if you're not a part of it, please join it. Hit the like button. Give me a follow over on TikTok. And I will be back on tomorrow evening. Cheers, Hive.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life.